Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. This is your Europa Conference League last 16 draw, and we're back for European football. How are you all feeling today? Welcome back to the West Ham Network. I'm Anton, bringing to you the live draw. Yes, it will be the live draw. Who will West Ham get, and who do you want us to get? Engage in the comments. We're going to have a couple of guests coming on, as well as we talk through, of course, the draw coming ahead. Now, I know there was a little cheeky video that Russ put up for you earlier on this morning, but what I am going to do is play to you another video at some point today where we'll go through some of the potential opposition teams that have qualified for the tournament. But as Russ said, let me just see if I can actually bring up some of them for you just now. This is what the draw will look like. You've obviously got the Europa Conference League group winners on the left-hand side of the page here. So you've got Istanbul, Başakşehir from Turkey, West Ham, of course, Villarreal, Nice of France, AEK Alkmaar of Holland, Desjardins from Sweden, Sivasspor of Turkey, and Slovan Bratislava of Slovenia. But West Ham cannot get any of those teams on the left-hand side. West Ham can, however, pull in one of the teams on the right-hand side. Lazio and Fiorentina of Italy, Larnaca of Cyprus, Sheriff Tiraspol, Moldova, of course, remember their famous victory against Real Madrid a couple of years ago in the Champions League. Anderlecht, who West Ham, of course, took on in the earlier stages of the Conference League. Basel of Switzerland, Lech Poznan of Poland. A lot of people will know them for the Poznan, the dance, the celebration that a lot of fans do. I think they played Man City in the Champions League, and they've done the very famous standing backwards and jumping celebration as well. And then Ghent of Belgium. So if you are watching and you're new around here and you haven't subscribed, the reason why you cannot comment is because you haven't subscribed. So hit the subscribe button and let us know your thoughts on potentially some of our teams that we can draw in the Conference League as well. We are going to go through the opponents potentially who we could get, who we could pull up in this tournament as well. But if you are new around here, please make sure you do hit that subscribe button. I'm going to play you a little video. This will give you a little update on everything that's going on about the last 16 opponents for it. So enjoy it. I'll be back and we'll go into more depth for the draw, which will start around about midday. So click on the subscribe button, leave it in the comments, and let me know who you'd like West Ham to get. And I'll be back in a couple of minutes. There you go. There's a rundown of some of the opposition teams that we can get, and it's very interesting. I was talking to my dad earlier on today, and he was actually asking me who the opposition teams were. And when you actually look at the quality, there is actually really decent quality. I mean, Fiorentina and Lazio, just to name a few, two Italian teams with a rich history in Italian football, and we could actually pull up one of them. And a lot of people I'm hearing in social media are talking about the potential for West Ham to actually get Lazio. You know, there's a little connection between the fans and all that sort of stuff, and you can imagine the atmosphere would be absolutely raw, like absolutely ridiculous as well. So I mean, in recent years we've actually played a few of the teams. Anderlecht, we played them earlier on in the Conference League. So let me bring up some of these slides that Russ fortunately did for us for the show earlier on. This is the teams that have qualified for the knockout from the groups that they did, and obviously the top team is the group winners. In each group, West Ham were in Group B, and first team in history of the Europa Conference League to play all 6 games and win all 6 games. So it was a fantastic start to the life in European football, especially in the Conference League as well. Now, Anderlecht, who West Ham did face in Group B, qualified through the playoffs and then had to go into the round of 32 to get through. So the round of 32, which is the playoffs, they qualified and will enter into the draw, which means West Ham can face Anderlecht again. And if we were to pull out Anderlecht of the bag, it would be the 3rd time we would face them in Europe this season. But the difference is this would be a knockout as well. So that does make it interesting, of course, as well. Now, from those teams, let me just, they were the Europa League dropout teams that came through. Then the last 16 draw is today. West Ham are one of 8 seeded teams who will face one of the 8 winners of the knockout playoff rounds. The first leg is on Thursday, the 9th of March, away for the group winners. Now, interestingly, though, something has chopped and changed so far from when we were talking about that from earlier on, and that is, of course, for the following reason. If Roma face Arsenal and Lazio host West Ham, then our away first leg will get moved to the Tuesday. So for anyone that is interested to know, if West Ham do get Lazio and Roma face Arsenal in the next round of the European Cups in their respective competitions, then West Ham's away first leg will get moved to the Tuesday, March the 7th, instead of Thursday, the 9th of March. And then the second leg is the home tie for West Ham on Thursday, the 16th of March, which is, ideally that's the kind of draw you want. You want to play away first and then home. Secondly, that's the most advantageous, is what they say. That's the best situation. That's what happened when we, of course, played Sevilla, and we had that fantastic experience at the London Stadium where the fans were behind it as well. That's Conference League group winners, then the playoffs, and the teams that got through and played each other to qualify for the next round. This was the aggregate results when they all played each other as well. Basel beating Trabzonspor, Sheriff Partizan 3-2, Lazio beating CFR Cluj to get through to the next round. And this is obviously the 16 teams that are in the draw today. We're now a second consecutive season for West Ham in Europe, and second consecutive season that we get into the round of 16, which is a very positive situation, of course, as well. Now, I'm bringing on a guest, or someone you will see every now and then on the channel kicking about, and he's a new dad. He's called himself the Daddy. Looky boy, how you doing, mate? You okay?
I'm fine, just looking for the volume control on my headphones, which appear to have.
You're fine, mate. We can always hear you. We can always hear you. So listen, mate, it's European football back. A welcome distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In some ways, it is. Yeah, it's a positive in a negative season. I think. Bit of cold, bit burned out. Sorry. I think if anything, if Moyes does keep his job, like it's looking, even to me, even if he loses against Forest, I seriously doubt they'll sack him. But that's beside the point. If he does manage to keep his job, it's going to be a way for him going, well, I could keep this club up, and I could also bring a European title, which for people like me who have had enough of him and are fed up with him, it's kind of a catch-22 because I want to win a European trophy, but I don't want him to be the manager that wins it because I don't think he deserves that kind of a cape. Last season with the Europa League, fair enough. But I think cups do. I think FA Cup, the FA Cup does. I know it's a long shot, but Wigan fans were being asked quite a while ago, what was it like to be relegated and win the FA Cup in the same season, plus beat Man City at Wembley. They were like, it's still the best achievement we've had in 50 years. I tell my grandkids about, there was only obviously like 5 or 6 Wigan fans. I was about to talk sport, but they were like, we took the relegation. Yeah, okay, we haven't been anywhere near the Premier League in since, but it's the FA Cup. We've won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So to an extent, they can be a welcome distraction. Yeah.
It's interesting because obviously, if you haven't already, go and check out Luke's video last night he did on Declan Rice. No, it's good. It's good to have different opinions as well. 100%.
Just to put it out there, I wasn't 100% happy with the way the video.
No,
but it's been well received. So
yeah, it was absolutely. So yeah, I mean, go and check it out. But this video is more about obviously the draw.
Yeah,
and at what stage, and I'm going to bring another guest on in a second, but at what stage do we, do we take this competition serious, without going into a kind of battle about what the situation is currently at West Ham? I mean, a question I want to ask to you and everyone who's watching before the draw does start, and let me remind you, the draw will start around about midday. The question I want to ask you, Luke, is if we just survive but win the Conference League, would you be a happy man?
Yeah, well, I'd have to be. I wouldn't want to just survive, but that's the predicament we're in. But I must admit, I'm not being funny. I had the playoff games on last night, and I had a bet on Ludogorets to beat Anderlecht. Don't ask me why I got it wrong. The bet was completely the wrong bet. I should have done and messed it up completely. But Anderlecht were playing at home to Ludogorets, and it brought back memories of last season in the Europa League with us playing Anderlecht. And I was like, almost like a bit of like a tear to me. I was like, this time last season, I was full of confidence in these. I was in dreamland that we were in Europe in the first place, and suddenly it brought back a load of memories. So, yeah, I wouldn't be happy, but in the day, you've stayed up, you've stayed in the league, which right now almost at times seems like we're destined to go down because of the way we're playing and everything like that. But I mean, there is that thing of going, we've only been in Europe one season prior, and for West Ham to win a European Cup is just, I mean, never mind the FA Cup, that's hard enough to win. So
yeah, in our lifetime it would be some feat, wouldn't it? It would be some feat. It'd be extremely typical as well of West Ham to have such a crap season in the Premier League and then go ahead and win something, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Anyway, let me bring on the next guest. He's extremely opinionated, Mr. Irish Tommy. How you doing, mate?
Morning. Very well. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you, mate. How are you feeling about the draw? How are you feeling about it? You've seen the teams that West Ham can face, Tommy. Some interesting teams in there as well. I mean, Fiorentina, Lazio. I was talking to my dad earlier on today, and I don't think he actually genuinely thought that the competition had some quality in it, and it has some real quality in there.
It does have some quality, particularly on our side of the draw. Obviously the group winners. Obviously, there's some quality in there, especially Villarreal. A really decent side. And obviously on the other side, excuse me, I dropped my phone. Excuse me, trying to fix myself. And obviously on the other side, you've got the likes of Lazio and Fiorentina. So there are some decent teams in there, and it's absolutely negative, Tommy. No, unfortunately, he's right in a way because this season's been so horrible, really, for the most part, and I'm sick of moaning. I'm sick of complaining. I want to see an upturn in form and
you've gone around 360 degrees, Tommy. You've gone around 360 degrees. Yeah, but listen, it wouldn't be a West Ham season if we didn't have the ups and downs. Typically, we're just not being used to it. Essentially, I wouldn't say last year. There was downs last year, of course, but what kind of papered over anything was the fact that we got to that European semi-final. Tommy, we're not far away from the draw, but when it comes to this tournament priority, at what stage does this tournament become a priority, or is it a priority in your head?
It is a priority, yeah. Obviously, look, number one priority is the Premier League, but I mean, at the moment, especially at the moment where we've got, everybody's training, there's no injuries, and with the squad we've got, we should be perfectly capable of getting the results we need in the Premier League, and being able to put out a very strong side in the Conference League. So I don't think there's any particular reason where we should be kind of chucking this Conference League. I think I'd be fuming actually if I ever felt like, say, David Moyes, assuming he'll be in charge for these games, whoever the manager is, I'd be quite fuming actually if I thought they just thought, oh, to hell with the Conference League, we just need to concentrate only on survival. I think we should be perfectly capable of doing both.
Yeah. Look, when you see the opposition, I'm going to bring it up again just so people know who the potential options are. On the right-hand side, you'll see the playoff stage winners. You've got Lazio, Fiorentina, Larnaca of Cyprus, Sheriff. Of course, they kind of got a bit of media coverage over the last couple of seasons after beating Real Madrid, which nobody expected at all. Anderlecht, of course, West Ham have faced them twice already in the Conference League this season. Basel, Poznan of Poland, and Ghent of Belgium. I mean, when you look at that, is there anyone you particularly fancy?
Yeah, I think you've got to say Lazio, haven't you? I think it's because of, I think their dream final, if we got to the final, would be West Ham Lazio. But at the end of the day, we played the semi-final last season, didn't progress through to the final, and I think we have to take whatever draw we can get. Not in that, like we have to try and take advantage of every draw we get. So if we can get Lazio, there's people out there that want Lazio in the final. But as much as this is in some ways a winnable tournament, we need to. I personally want to enjoy it for what it is. So if there's no guarantee of going through to the next round, I want to enjoy the competition as long as we're in it. So Lazio for me, and the away day at the in Rome would be amazing. And then if we get through, we get through. But right now, because there's no guarantee of going through to the next round, enjoy it for what it is. And Lazio for me.
Sorry, I've muted myself there. Tommy, what's your thoughts?
Largely the same. I think if you were asking me to pick an opponent right now, I'd love a draw against Lazio as well. I think that'd be brilliant. Something to get our teeth into. There's a few ties there. You can likes of Ghent and Poznan, Basel, even Anderlecht, who were really poor when we played them. Sheriff, Larnaca. You're not really going to get particularly excited about any of those ties. Okay, they're probably more winnable, but they just don't kind of make the hair stand up at all, do they? Really?
This is West Ham as well, isn't it? Nothing.
Yeah. So I think, if we were going to, Rome, for example, to play Lazio, or up to play Fiorentina, I mean, I think that would fans would love that, and there'd be kind of more exciting games. They'd certainly be, I think, more competitive.
Yeah.
But on the other side, on the flip side, given how our form is, if our form doesn't improve quite dramatically, then you could say, look, we're better off playing kind of the worst team we can get, to try and make sure we get through until maybe our form is a bit better. But I think Lazio or particularly or Fiorentina would be exciting for me. I'd be really looking forward to those ties.
I think either way, though, listen, if you watch our channel, you'll see that you've been witnessing not the best of seasons under after watching West Ham. It's not great. We're sitting in the bottom three, but it's a welcome. Is it a welcome distraction, Tommy?
I think it will be. Plus, we last couple of seasons, last season we really enjoyed playing in Europe, and it was just something we're not used to, something we kind of yearned for a long time, was a European adventure. And like you say, it just it gives you just a little bit of relief, where kind of every week we have to talk about the Premier League. Things are not going well. We're playing really poorly. We're struggling for goals. We've dropped into the relegation zone. It's all a bit doom and gloom on the Premier League front. Whereas I think this would be a welcome distraction for fans where they can actually, go. Obviously, the first leg will be away. So, a trip to wherever it's going to be, I think would just be something a little bit different. And just, I think fans could actually just kind of really enjoy the occasion.
It's quite weird to be talking about the Conference League again, isn't it, Luke? Because it feels like such a long time ago that we played it. And in actual fact, I remember, walking away from that qualifying for the last 16, and you can kind of put the Conference League to the back burners and not think about it for a while. And then at that point in our heads, we concentrate on the league, and that's not gone the way we want to do it. And now in theory, you're like, well, thank God the Conference League's coming back, because hopefully that can give us a little bit of joy. But there's, I mean, it's
I must admit, it was because the World Cup was in between, wasn't it? So I think that's pushed things along. But I did forget about it. I totally forgot about it. I was like, oh yeah, it was the Conference League, because I forgot about the Champions League and Europa League as well. That's because the Premier League, certainly our former Premier League, has taken my attention so much that you sort of go, then the FA Cup comes along, and you're like, okay, well, yeah, that still exists. Yeah, that's still going. So, like I said, it's taken a while to get here, but I must admit, the buzz is starting to come back after this week with all the games going along. I hope we're a totally different team compared to what it was last season. Confidence-wise, playing-wise, personnel-wise, manager confidence in him is zilch compared to what it was before last season. There was also the sort of mysticness, the fact that we hadn't been in a proper European phase in like 10, 15 years, however long it was. So it was like, oh, wow, Europe at home against big teams. We're in the group stages and we're in knockout stages. This season's like, okay, we've been there, we've done that. We're not in a great position compared to where we were last season. So it'd be interesting to see how this is met, because this was, I think it was like party atmosphere. Last season, everyone doing their first away games in Europe for generations, and now it's come back around, and I'm interested to really see how everyone reacts, because this isn't as prestigious as the Europa League is, and we're not in the same situation as it was last season. So, are people going to be looking forward to it as much as they were last season? Are we going to be going, oh, Sevilla, brilliant, bring it on? And we were going, right, okay, we've got them. Okay, hopefully that doesn't distract us too much from trying to stay in the Premier League. So. It'd be, you know what I mean?
On that, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, we all want to play in the best tournament we possibly can, and I think the Conference League's taken it took a bit of a pounding before it became a thing. And last season really surprised me individually, even though we weren't in it. And I think many people could probably agree. Watching the final as well, Roma and the teams that were in the competition and how well they were all kind of playing, and it really felt that competitive battle. And you went, well, it's a good idea. Good idea what you've done down there. You've scrapped any of the kind of Mickey Mouse things and you've created a competition that gives people a really strong chance at getting European football. The incentive is if you win the competition, you qualify automatically for the Europa League. Then you earn more money as well through the games. And, you can go ahead and have a European title under your belt against some of the strong opposition. I mean, Villarreal, albeit we can't get them, were only a season and a half ago in the Champions League semi-finals. Like, it just shows you how things can chop and change in the quality of the teams that you do come up against. Tommy, you know what? We're all very vocal. We've all been vocal. You've been vocal. Luke, me, you, all been vocal about West Ham's season. And it's not been great, but we could find ourselves coming into this game at the weekend, which is the Premier League game, that we could have, for the first time this season, a fully fit squad. For the first time this season. How big would that be going into the last, no matter the manager situation, just how important will that be for West Ham's last kind of leg of the season?
Yeah, it's going to be very important. If we can keep everybody fit for the run-in, I mean, it'll be a massive boost to us. Like I say, for the first time this season, I think there's our physio, our doctors probably don't quite know what to do with themselves for the first time, do they? They're probably walking out onto the training ground, asking around, any tweaks, feel anything? just try to find something
digging up a few holes in the training ground so they can save their job.
Yeah, probably for the first time in years, they're actually able to kind of have a nice handy week. They're usually flat out. They got injuries all over the place. But yeah, it's going to be very important in the running for obvious reasons. Especially now, it'll be very helpful to us because you've got 5 subs now, so you can swap out half the outfield players now in a game.
Have we?
Um,
Have we got 5 subs? You wouldn't think it, what with Moyes this season, would you?
Well, most of the season, I agree with you. Look there, but the only thing I will say is, in more recent games, he's been a little bit quicker off the mark to make those changes. It's not been ideal. It's not been at maybe the stages we're doing it, but it's definitely not the 80th and 90th minute when it was last season. That's definitely switched this year.
Plus, I think with everybody there, I mean, potentially tomorrow, I mean, and going forward, our bench is going to be very strong. So we don't know who Moyes will deem ready to start or not tomorrow. But potentially tomorrow he could be looking back at his bench and seeing the likes of maybe Soucek, seeing the likes of Benny, seeing the likes of Fornells, the Lanzini. He could come back there. Cornet's there. Maybe Paqueta, depending on, like I say, who starts. Skamaka might be sitting there, or Ings, so he'll probably look back at his bench, tomorrow against Forest, and he'll see players there that he thinks, yeah, I could absolutely introduce this player here and make a change. And he's going to have to, one way or another. I think he's either going to start with players like Paqueta, Zuma, Skamaka, or Ings, Cornet, and he'll know for some of them there probably isn't 90 minutes in them yet because they're just back. So he's going to want to get them off at some point and get them replaced, or vice versa. He's going to deem them, only ready for the bench, but he's going to want to get them on in the second half. So hopefully, Moyes, when he has such a strong bench, that he'll be more willing to use more of them.
You'd like to think so.
There are a few players though that
I could be weighing in the wind here. I don't know, but
there's one particular player though. Look, that for me personally, I think we have really missed it. I think he's a game-changing player, and that's Max Cornet. And we just need to, for me personally, I think we need to really hope that he is back and he is okay and he is fit. And I don't think he'll start. Of course, I don't think he'll start. But it'd be nice at least if we did see him on the bench, or even if it's not for this game, for the next game moving forward. But for a player to be, I remember earlier in the season, he was extremely influential when we were playing either nearly scoring, setting up goals, or winning penalties. And a lot of people were going, oh, he's always on the ground. And well, yeah, he was, but he was getting half quite a lot. But sometimes, yeah, he simulated it a few times as well. But I find him to be a player that can bridge that gap between the midfield and the striker. And he can also get goals from any position, really, that he plays. He's going to be vital for us moving forward this season and going to be like a new signing.
Yeah, he is. I always liked him when he was at Burnley. He's actually quite, like you say, Tommy, it's quite mad that we've got pretty much all our injured players back. Normally 1 or 2 come back at the most, and then they're out again for another month. But I like him. I think he's a really good player. He's one of those players as well, which, even though Emerson is playing really well, he could be a left wing back option instead of Emerson, which I always think you need. I think you need competition for places at all times. It just keeps things fresh, and you find out who wants to play and who doesn't want to play more than anything else as well. But I think when he started the first game, when he crossed the ball in for Skamaka, can't remember who it was against now, but I think it was Viable, maybe something like that. But he's just got. I don't want to talk about him too much because there's a part of me as well that I'm going to be watching him through gritted teeth because I'm going to be waiting for him to get injured, which is just the life of a West Ham fan, I think, especially me. But he's definitely got something. My worry is that, and I think this has just been, it wasn't so much last season, but it certainly is this season. My worry is that a fit Cornet will get Moised. He'll be told by Moyes to work, run, and change him, and say, look, you might be a quick winger, but I need you to chase back just as much as you get forwards and all this and all that stuff. So hopefully he lets him play his game, and he's a quick guy, can put crosses in, can score as well. So hopefully unleashes him and just lets him play his football. But I don't trust Moyes at the minute with anyone. So for what it's worth, get him back in the squad, but don't hinder the guy. Let the guy play his football and do his best for us,
Let me just quickly jump onto the draw. The draw will be starting very soon. We're just going through some of the teams, but just want to give you a little bit of concept behind or information behind some of the teams we could draw. So the lowest ranked side who West Ham could face in the tournament against in the Conference League is AEK Larnaca, who sit 142nd in the rankings. They play their football in Cyprus and currently sit top of their domestic league. They were founded in 1994 and they have won the Cypriot Cup twice and the Super Cup as well. They play at the AEK Arena. Capacity is just over 8,000. So that will be a little tight-knit stadium atmosphere. A team that, you know, not many people will know about as well. And these are some of their players. Finished third in Europa League group. Yakulis, Lopez, Ledes, Farage. Don't know anything really about them necessarily. But the highest ranked team that we can face in this competition is FC Basel, who are currently ranked in 35th place in Europe. And that is one of the teams that are above us just now. So they're founded in 1893. They've got Swiss Championship 20 times, Swiss Cup 13 times, Swiss League Cup as well. They play at the St. Jacob Park, 38,500 seater stadium. It looks like a tight-knit stadium again, old school football stadium there. And there's some of their players that play for them, currently sitting 6th in the Super League as well. And on top of that, of course, we were talking about teams like Lazio, who I'll bring up to you in a second if I can find their slide, which is taking me ages to find.
Amateur hour.
Amateur hour, yeah, it is. They currently sit. Where are they sitting? That's a good question. I've not got the answer for you. It's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible. I don't have the answer for you there. There we are. There's Lazio for you there. Founded in 1900s. Trophies. Look at that. I'm not even going to go through them. I could be here for ages telling you all the trophies that they've played at. They play at the Stadio Olimpico. Capacity 70,500 fans in the stadium.
Italian version of the London Stadium, isn't it?
Yeah. But you can imagine the atmosphere in there would be absolutely wild, wouldn't it?
Di Canio.
And then a couple of players that currently play for them. One we do know, Felipe Anderson. You know, one of the biggest things about Felipe Anderson, personally for me, was, I didn't think he had the greatest of careers at West Ham, but when he came back to us after his loans, it was a loan to Porto. In the pre-season, he was by far the fittest, by far the most creative player. And then literally 2 days later, we sold him back to Lazio, and he's been firing on all cylinders for them this season as well. Is that one we let go too early, Tommy?
I'll be honest. As talented as he was, I had certain problems with him. He was driving me a bit mad, to be honest, with his just refusal to do any tackling or any work rate whatsoever. I mean,
yeah.
You know, I remember the one particular game at Anfield, and when he put in, and it was a simple 50-50 foot challenge. It wasn't, you know, a sliding tackle he had to go in with anyone or anything, or a bruising tackle, and he just had no interest in tackling, and the ball got off him, and almost scored. It just kind of drove me crazy. There was another game where he kind of went up for an aerial challenge, and it was a pretend challenge. We clearly had no interest in actually trying the ball. And he was actually driving me a bit crazy, to be completely honest. He has got ability, you know, but he was driving me mad, to be honest. He's just complete lack of interest in getting involved in the game when he wasn't on the ball. And I don't mean that in a Moyes way, where I wanted him to,
I was going to say, you're Moyesing him.
No, I'm not Moyesing him. But come on, Luke, you have to do some work. You got to at least, you know, go into challenges and compete for headers and stuff. I don't like players who refuse to put in any challenges whatsoever or work whatsoever, and I felt like he was just far too lazy for my liking. And he was driving me mad every time he'd pull out of a challenge and we'd lose the ball and stuff. So I wanted him gone. I'll be completely honest. I won't be revisionist and like pretend like I was, we didn't do right by him or whatever. I think there is talent there, and I do like him as a player, and perhaps things could have been better for him at West Ham, but he wasn't the type of player for me. I just can't stand players not willing to put in even basic tackles in case they get hurt, and it's not for me.
Just before the draw does start, because we are getting prepared now, they're just bringing out the people who are actually drawing the balls from the pot. West Ham represent Hold on a second. The West Ham representative is actually Mark Noble and club secretary Andrew Pitcher. They're actually out there doing the draw for West Ham. Well, it's not doing it, but they're there as West Ham's representatives. You can see Mark Noble now sitting in the background. Sorry, look, carry on.
What channel is it on?
We've got it actually through the website, through their actual website.
What website is that?
BT Sport have got it as well.
No,
UEFA,
UEFA.com. UEFA.com as well. So we've got Vladimir Smicha, who's the Europa Conference League final ambassador, formerly of Liverpool. If anyone doesn't know who he is, he's just talking now about the setup of the Conference League and stuff like that. We're going to go through the live draw. We will bring you the teams. We will bring up, this will be the kind of format, and as the teams are added in, we'll add them into the screen for you. We'll get in, I think, Russ, if you can hear me, Russ, I think you're coming on, aren't you, for the draw? You can let me know, or maybe you're not. Maybe he's doing it in the background. I can't remember what he said he was doing. But listen, if you are watching, put me in the team you want. There you go. Let us know now the team you would like West Ham to pull out of the bag for this game. Paul is saying, where is it here? They are a really good team. I'm from Cyprus, and I'll let you know that it won't be an easy game. In Cyprus, small stadium, but don't stop singing, so it won't be easy. But it's a nice trip for Cyprus in the sun. Absolutely. What I will say is, my mindset going into these tournaments is the bigger they come, the harder they fall. I genuinely like. Can I be honest with you though? When you play in Europe, you don't want the smallest of teams. You don't want a team that you've never really heard of. You want the biggest team. Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't.
Did you see it? Listen, Anton. We could have said that about our group. We walked through the group. You know, and I'm sorry, Larnaca. If we can't beat them, we may as well pack it in. To be honest, I think we should. I think we will.
Them? Like,
not want them, but if we play them, it's not. I don't want to draw Larnaca, but we'll breeze past Larnaca. I'm sorry, I completely disagree. I think gassing them up a bit too much. This guy, whoever he is, I don't know who the comment's from, but I'm sorry if we can't comfortably get past Larnaca, there's something very wrong.
We've got Sneaker and checks if Alcatenski it's written in the stars.
I'm sure they are really good in Cyprus, but come on.
Oh, is that a bit of Premier League arrogance coming through there to me?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a reason.
We're bottom of the league, Tommy. We've got nothing to say about it. We might even be in the league next season. So, but here's
a bit of a controversial comment for you. Look, would you take this? You have Felipe over Benrahma?
No, from me.
No.
Actually, yes, I would.
You would?
I'll quickly tell you the reason why. Benrahma for me is very inconsistent. He's been the best player in a poor season, and the only reason why really he's played his football or been a fan's favourite is because he's been the best, most entertaining player, most attacking player in a very, very defensive team that David Moyes can't manage. I don't think he's Premier League quality. I haven't really thought he's Premier League quality since we signed him, to be honest with you. And for me, Felipe Anderson on form, disregarding all the defensive duties, when he was on form and nutmegging people for fun and all sorts of stuff like that, he was one of our best assets at the time. And for me, Benrahma's never really been able to reach those heights, but Anderson did. However short amount of time it was, for me, yes. And on form Anderson over on form Benrahma, yes, for me, yeah.
There you go. Nick is asking for Poznan. That's the team he's looking for in this as well. Paul is saying, who we get will lose. No chance. Got no fight in the team. Rest in.
Love it.
So positive there, aren't you, mate? What the hell? Spurs got dumped
out
by
this
too
positive, mate.
Team. No, it's just fucking rest in peace, West Ham. All right, mate, calm down. Paul, come on. Right, we're literally
to be fair, like this season, even though we've been struggling in the Premier League from the start, we still cruised through the group stage in Europe. We're kind of a different team in Europe for some reason.
Yeah.
It seems to suit us. I don't know why, but we seem suited to European football.
Which is a really weird thing to say as a West Ham.
Yeah, well, I think I'm like we said earlier on, having the fully fit squad or close to a fully fit squad for the first time this season will be telling. I mean, it's going to be the first time in such a long time we'll see players like Scamacca and Paqueta play together again. You know, they were starting to build up a nice little relationship before one or the other picked up an injury. I think Scamacca was out. But sorry, no, it wasn't. It was Paqueta picked up that shoulder injury against Southampton before the World Cup, and that would probably be the last time that the two of them played together. So that's a scary situation to think about, you know. And if we can bring any form of that back, you know, I was sitting in the coffee shop this morning, someone saying to me, it's funny when you hear people from the outside point of view looking at West Ham saying, "Oh, Antonio, can't believe he's still fighting fit for West Ham, doing a job for West Ham up top." And I'm like, do you know what? I'm his biggest critic and his biggest fan. But this season, it's really taught me that we cannot keep relying on Antonio at all. And I know that. And I think we all know that as well. We need something. Anyway, the draw started. Let me bring this up. First team is out. So we're going to give you the update as we go along. The first team to come out of the draw. AEK Larnaca of Cyprus. Larnaca of Cyprus. First time in the round of 16.
Here we go.
Will West Ham get Cyprus trip? A trip to Cyprus?
Yeah, we're going to go to Cyprus and get beat by them, and I'm going to look like an absolute mug.
And we have got West Ham. There we go, Cyprus.
Now we'll see.
I don't know.
Now we'll find out. Larnaca better not make me look like a mug.
I don't know if you've seen it, but if you see Mark Noble's face when he got the draw, he was like, "Oh, here we go."
West Ham have drawn AEK Larnaca, who I've just spoke to you about, the lowest ranked team in the competition so far. Next out is Fiorentina.
That's where we lasted, eh?
Can't believe that. I fully expect us to be last out the bag. Not bloody first or second.
This is video over now, isn't it? I've done it.
That's it, done. Yeah, we're done for the game. We're done for the day. If you're just joining us, West Ham have drawn AEK Larnaca.
Yeah, I'll tell you, to be honest, I'm surprised we haven't somehow managed to draw Man United away.
Because we keep getting them in every bloody tournament, innit? For anyone that doesn't know, they do play in Cyprus, and they're a reasonably new team. There you go, formed in 1994. They were. So Fiorentina versus Sivasspor of Turkey. Lazio out next. Italian side for so we'll play them in Cyprus on the 9th of March, depending if Roma... No, it will be... No, sorry. So we'll play them on the 9th of March away in Cyprus and the 16th of March at home at the London Stadium. Lazio face AZ Alkmaar. Tommy, you called it. We've got Paul in here. There we go.
Lowest
Paul says the smallest teams always want the big teams.
Yeah, lowest ranked team in the group. We're away first leg. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. We'll be fine. I'm sticking to my guns.
That you got to
We
now.
need to check the weather in Cyprus and see what it's like and get ourselves out there on a nice little cheeky holiday. Do you know what? Actually, we're looking at a summer holiday, but I might have to explain to the missus it's now going to be Cyprus.
We're going to have about... What are we going to have? Like 200 or 300 away fans in that bloody stadium, is it?
So Lech Poznan. Actually, so there's a valid point for you. Let me bring up their stadium. There you go. 8,000 capacity stadium for you.
What do we get? 10%. We're going to have about 800 fans.
800 fans. A lot of fans will travel because of the nice weather, of course, but a lot of folk won't get in, which will be a shame. That's the only maybe downside to pulling out that is we won't get many in the stadium, but they'll certainly make a good. People are already talking about Ayanapa. FC Basel come out next.
Ayanapa.
Basel.
Tommy's put the mockers on the match.
Famous last words, yeah. It'll be fine.
No way. There's someone in the chat that I've not seen for ages. I've just lost them. Where is he? Where is he? Oh my God. There he is. Full bloody cheesy. Mate, can you do me a massive favour, Fo? If you are watching, please can you email westhamnetwork@gmail.com. I have a few things I want to talk to you about. Please, westhamnetwork@gmail.com. So anyway, Slovan Bratislava versus Basel. The first leg will be the 9th of March away in Cyprus, and the second leg will be the 16th of March at the London Stadium. Next up is Sheriff. I'll play against Nice of France.
That would have been a decent tie for us. Like in the next rounds, the likes of Nice as well. Round. I forgot they were in there.
It'd have been a nice draw.
We couldn't get Nice in this one, but I think it's wide open now after this. If you get through, it'd have been a nice draw. I take it the banter,
banter. Yeah.
Plenty West Ham in the home end for that one with all the troops in Cyprus. That's a valid point, David. We won't ask him for that just yet. Need Tommy's prediction for the next round as foresight. We're not asking him for that. Right, so we've got Anderlecht next out of the draw versus Villarreal. Big time,
yeah, Villarreal should cruise past Anderlecht. They're not great.
And then Ghent will take on Istanbul Başakşehir. I love how everyone leaves me to pronounce it. Thanks.
Yeah, you're on your own.
This is not as bad as Stell used to pronounce Besiktas.
Who? I'm only joking, mate. I'm only joking. Right, let me just remind you. AEK Larnaca of Cyprus, founded in 1994. I've got 3 cups in their title to their name, Cypriot Cups, 2 of them, and 1 Super Cup as well. They play at the AEK arena. Capacity is 8,000 fans, and as Tommy said, I think we're expecting 10% of the gate. So a good decent 800 fans should get in, but there'll probably be plenty in the home end as well. Currently first in their division, finished third in the Europa League group as well. And they're
so so am I right in saying that they're going for their first title over there? You said they got 3 cups.
They've got 3 cups, so they have won the Cypriot Cup twice and a Super Cup. So it looks like they've not won their actual title.
They haven't won the league yet, so it looks like they're going for their first league title.
Yep, absolutely. So what do you think, everyone? Then are you all happy with that? I mean, let's come to you, Tommy. I think your reaction earlier on was you predicted it, mate. You should have put money on that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm happy because if we weren't going to get a tasty tie, so like Lazio or Fiorentina, let's say, then I suppose the next best thing would be just get the lowest ranked team in there, and hopefully, we can rotate the team a bit against them, and still be able to concentrate kind of as we should on the Premier League. Hopefully, we'll be in a little bit of a more comfortable position in the league by then. We don't even know who our manager will be by then. It could be Moyes, could be someone else.
We know.
If we win tomorrow, it'll be Moyes. Let's be honest. But
if we lose tomorrow,
I'm happy with that. Honestly, look, I won't be told otherwise. You can gas them up all you want, but they're the lowest ranked team in it.
I love this, Tommy. Tommy, I love it.
I'm sorry, like that should be pretty straightforward.
Do you not remember Kidderminster last season? Do you remember that? Rush to the rescue.
No, but seriously, like in Europe, we just seem to fit Europe. We just seem to be,
fair enough.
I don't know, just suited to European football. And if you look at the group we were in, you could have said the same about the group we were in, at the start of the season, saying, "Oh, don't take it all for granted and stuff." But we cruised it. Let's be honest. And it was relatively straightforward. And to be honest, like obviously Larnaca will be up for it, and they'll try their best. But I mean, they shouldn't be able to compete with us over 2 legs.
That's an insult.
Tommy, stop it, mate. Stop it. You're freaking me out with these bold statements. But I get it. I get why you're doing the bold statements. Let me give you a little bit of history about Larnaca. They were founded on the 18th of July, 1994. And they came from a merger of 2 historic clubs, EPA Larnaca and Peso Poricos, whatever you want to call them.
They're 3 years younger than me.
You what?
They're 3 years younger than me.
Yeah.
I can't go to the away leg now. I won't get out of Cyprus alive.
You certainly won't, mate. You certainly will not. Yeah, but like you said, they haven't actually won their league yet at all. They've been runner-up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times of the Cypriot Championship. They have won the cup, like I said, 2 times, and have won the Super Cup once as well. They qualified. Let me just have a little look here how they qualified for the Conference League. They were in the Europa League. Sorry, they got knocked out of the second qualifying round of the Champions League, then went into the third qualifying round of the Europa League. They beat Partizan of Croatia, then played Dnipro in the playoff round of Ukraine and beat them and got through into the group stages of the Europa League, where they finished in third place. They were in a group with Dynamo Kiev, Rennes, and Fenerbahce, and they finished third place in that to then qualify for the knockout rounds of playoffs in the Conference League. And then they obviously won that and have now got West Ham. So there you go. Look, you buzzing, mate? You buzzing?
I actually am, to be fair. I'm
Everyone's got a
buzzing.
little spring in their step. The sun's shining, the birds are chirping.
I'm buzzing by default, but also because Tommy's so confident, and Tommy hasn't been confident in anything throughout the season. So a bit for me. It's like I kind of like it because you can go from the big teams to Lazio and Fiorentina and that, and then go to like the deepest, darkest depths of Europe and whatever to go and play these teams, which I think is good for us. I think it's a humbling experience. I think it's like, they're gonna be like, Premier League team come in, they're gonna be up for it, and it's like you say, this most people are gonna go out there for a holiday. Let's be fair, the football is just part of it. The piss up as well, but it's quite funny because I've been saying to you for a little while, Anton, that I've wanted to come on here and rant. And the Declan Rice video that I did was
Look at your bloody
part,
face. You're happy.
Was part of that rant. But like I said to you as well, you are slightly infectious, and I hate it because this is why I've avoided texting you after a West Ham game, because I don't want positivity in my life after a West Ham game. I want someone else to be just as annoyed as I am. And I come on with you, and you're positive, and it rubs off on me.
Listen,
so
you don't need to watch me. You need to watch Tommy at Friday night, 10 o'clock.
I'm going to be on.
He's on
Tommy's
tonight.
face.
I'm going to be on with him
Tommy
tonight.
is going to be a happy man tonight.
Look at him. He's happier than me. He's happier than me for once.
Yeah. Don't worry, me and Luke will get back to our misery this evening. It'll be great. So they say misery loves company, so join us tonight, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
10 o'clock tonight. If you don't know, Tommy does the Late Late Show with Irish Tommy and guests, and it's a bundle of laughs. I might add a bundle of laughs. It is though. It's a good show. It's a good show. Do you know what's really good about it? And I said this to you yesterday. Look, it just shows that it's all different opinions, and that's what's good in it. And hopefully you'll see through the channel that you've got so many different opinions, and that's what makes it nice, that we don't hate each other, but we can have a bit of a chin wag about it and have a laugh as well. So do join Tommy tonight, 10 o'clock, because you'll certainly get your fun filled. Russ is coming on for the daily.
Is he being all like confident at the moment? And am I hearing this right? I didn't know whether I don't know if I'd put like something on. I was like, what? Tommy's confident for the match.
Do you want me to blow your mind, Russ? Do you want me to blow your mind?
Go on then.
I think we're going to beat Forest tomorrow.
I am tuning in tonight. I am tuning in tonight, Tommy.
I need to lie down, I think. That's good. It's all good. All good in the hood. So I've just put in the chat. I've just put in the chat. If for anyone watching, are you happy with the draw? Yes, no, indifferent. Let us know in the poll, and we'll do a little poll at the end and see what people think about the draw. Carry on.
Can you imagine, Russ? Russ, can you imagine if I was doing your job at the London Stadium? I'd have all funeral music.
Oh God, it'll be like Adele. It'll be like Adele. It'll be like. Although saying that, we don't forget we were the only side. Obviously, when Her Majesty the Queen passed, we were obviously doing the game, weren't we? We were playing in the Europa Conference League, and so I was told to play literally downbeat classical music, and I was like, if Irish Tommy was there, I actually thought it'd be hilarious because he'd be like, "Yeah, that's about right. How I'm feeling at the moment." It was all very sort of somber, but yes. Yeah, because you imagine just
please. I'm sorry. Please say this isn't true, Skipper. Please tell me this is not true, Because if this is bloody true, it's just scuppered me again. Oh my God, what a nightmare.
March 16th.
What an absolute nightmare.
March 16th.
What an absolute nightmare that is.
Up the strikers.
That's a pain in the arse, man, as well, for anyone even locally jumps on the train. Like, it's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous.
And I'll tell you what,
No,
right,
no.
man,
Go for it, Tommy.
like,
Okay. 15th.
I'll tell you what, if we somehow go to Old Trafford and get through that one, we're going to have another FA Cup game then to play as well, and it's going to get crazy, isn't it, with fixtures?
Tommy,
I know you're
Tommy,
gonna get,
you've
wait,
just
you're gonna get really
said
confident.
we're beating Nottingham Forest. You've just said we're beating Man United. You've just said we're beating Larnaca. The season's
No.
turned, mate.
The Man United one. The Man United one is a big if. I'm just saying, if we somehow manage to do it,
They'd be on an hour.
then we'd have serious, crazy fixture congestion, wouldn't we? So we might need all them players fit.
Yeah, we do. And April is massively busy because obviously we've got the rearranged Newcastle game on top of that as well. So I think we've got about half a dozen games in April at least. That's not including the Europa. We've got a busy April, that's for sure. So someone made a good point in the chat actually that because we've got a fully fit squad now, hopefully, then we could potentially, touch wood, do compete on at least two fronts. And maybe not the FA Cup as well, but or maybe could. I don't know. Yeah, anyway.
Steve is saying he needs a pint of what Tommy's had. I'm going to hand over to Russ, Luke, and Tommy to take you out. I'll be back over the next couple of days, and I'll see you soon. Come on, you irons.
All right.
Neil,
All right, fair enough. What's that? Is that bad, was it?
No, sorry, I really do need to go, though. Sorry. Much love. Bye.
Well, piss off. There we go. So, yeah, I mean, you probably need to lie down now, Tommy, because, you got to get back to the normal ways for your Friday night show now.
My nose is starting to bleed.
It's a medical condition, confidence-itis.
Could you? Unbelievable. Let's get a few. If you want to go,
I think
guys, whenever you want to.
I think what's happened is I've just cracked. I think the season's just been so bad, and I've just had to be miserable for so long. I think my brain is just basically gone now. My head's gone, and I can't do it anymore. And I just decided now to just live in complete denial of everything that's going on.
Tommy boys.
I love the fact that people are become travel agents all very quick as soon as we sign someone. So apparently people can fly into Limassol instead of Larnaca. Yeah. There we go. Or Ryanair flies to Pathos. Obviously, Cyprus is a relatively small island as well. So my floor manager will be very happy at West Ham because she lives in Greece. Well, she lives in Greece sometimes. So, we don't need any help with the translations and things like that. Right, what we've got here is the best taste for Moyes to show all the competitions are as important as each other. Depends on how he rotates the team. Indeed, Barry. What we got here? Tommy's season can only get worse if he wakes up next to Declan Rice and one of them is pregnant. GP's on one today. It's funny. What we've got here? Anything else? Any other travel plans? Anyone? Let's have a look. The route flights and Ryanair just went from 30 quid to £300. Well, some people I know there's certain people, maybe in the chat, maybe definitely on Twitter, and people I know in the West Ham community. And what they've done is that yesterday they booked 8 flights. So on from 10:30. Obviously the Gent game overran, didn't it? Went to penalties, and they booked all their flights and their hotels already, and they just cancelled them all on Booking.com. Very clever if you can. It's a really good trip to Larnaca. I promise you'd end up. There's a lot of West Ham fans in Cyprus. Yeah, we've got the Cypriot Hammers. They're up there as well, so it'd be good. Happy Paul's in the chat as always. If you think West Ham are going to win, you live on Fancy Island. Can not beat Forest. 3-0 loss. Moyes out. Then we go down by them. Paul's lovely.
Thank you, Paul. I needed to hear that. Thank you. Bring me back down to work. Paul knows what's up.
It's a leveler, isn't it? It's a leveler. It's like when if you want a little sort of pick me up, that's it. You've had your pick me up.
Yeah.
There.
My cup spilleth over, and so I needed someone to bring me back down to earth a bit.
Exactly. Chris has missed the draw. He thought he was at 1 o'clock. No, it wasn't at 12 o'clock. In case you missed it, there's the draw. That's what we're up to. So we were the first ones drawn out. So we'd been on for an hour, and the first one was out. So we have Larnaca. We can go over a little bit more about them a little bit later on. And the next two were typically Fiorentina and Lazio. And then, so there's some good ties there. As you said, if we get Nice, we've got the return. We could have the return of, well, not the return, but we could have Tyrone Moffey, wouldn't he? He plays for Nice now. Could you imagine if we got through to them next round? After this, it's all bets are off. We can get drawn anyone. So similar to last year where we had, we were only allowed to draw about 8 teams where we draw Sevilla. And then obviously then we got Lyon in the next round. So, we could end up.
I think the quarterfinals are going to be a bit tasty.
Yes, yeah, and I mean, I know Anton was talking about it at the end, before we had the draw, but you look at someone like the conference last year. Arguably, the final 4 in the conference were stronger on paper than the final 4 in the Europa League. You had the likes of in terms of prestige. You had Roma, you had, Leicester, they had PSV Eindhoven as well were in there as well. So where we had us, Rangers, not obviously the European pedigree in terms of long term. So. Yeah, and obviously Roma won it last year, so Lazio probably want to win it this year, won't they? To do one over their rivals. Chris lives in Cyprus, so happy days. All right for some, innit? All right for some.
Yeah.
Nice. If we had Dawson, we would beat Villarreal. Well, I think wait and see what Villarreal will get past the next round yet. So people call it a Mickey Mouse Cup, but look, some of them call it in the draw. I totally agree, Michael. And I think that only the teams that take it seriously end up doing really well at it. So I think it's a nice distraction, isn't it? It's a nice distraction from what's going to be happening the next couple of days, potentially, either way or not. And so, yeah.
I love our European nights. I really do. I love our European nights. I think they're fantastic, and it's great. Because obviously, look, the Premier League's our bread and butter, but we used to play in, these teams every season, and to have European games to play against these kinds of sides, and then obviously, like when we get through this tie, obviously, you're into the quarterfinals. You could have yourself another really brilliant European night. You could be back in Spain against Villarreal, or you could be going to Rome to play Lazio. Could be off to Fiorentina or where?
Florence, lovely.
Florence, excuse me. Yeah, blanked. Could be going to Florence or somewhere like that, and big occasions, big nights, European football. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, exactly. The difference, obviously, the if you look at last season's the European nights, obviously the Sevilla one, I think it's when you got the home tie second, that's when it really you get a really good atmosphere, because obviously that Sevilla game that happened. Then obviously we drew Lyon, and so the first leg, you don't know. You might be in the draw, you might get a 1-0 win. You don't know what you've got to do. You haven't progressed. It's only half time.
There's no way goals even there, is there?
Yeah, exactly. So obviously the Lyon away was so much better. That's why people say, oh, the Lyon game at home wasn't as good. It's because the situation was different. Same as Eintracht Frankfurt as well. So it's really, to get those really good European nights, you have to have the luck of the draw a little bit.
I think they all had their moments. I think they all had their Sevilla was like our first taste of European knockout football, and then you had Lyon and then Sevilla at home, and then Lyon at home at the moments of the sending off, the wink, and all sort of stuff like that. Very sort of Hollywood, and then the away was just dreamland, incredible. And then the Frankfurt was Frankfurt the home game. I actually really enjoyed, despite the fact we lost it, because their fans are incredible. They played really good football, and we played okay.
Oh man, do you remember? Sorry, just popped in my head when you said Frankfurt at home. Remember that Jared Bowen overhead kick that came off the crossbar?
If he'd have scored that, we'd have gone in.
Yeah,
it would have changed the whole demographic at the time.
It's one of those things. But I think when people talk about those games, they do tend to, and the crowd was a little bit more subdued. I think for the Lyon and Frankfurt, very nervous, maybe because it's at half-time, the half-time job, whereas the Sevilla game, you knew what we needed to do. It was absolutely phenomenal. But you're right, it's the away crowd. That's what makes it. Even when we've played, the likes of Viborg and stuff this season, if they bring a good, even if there's a small, contingency, particularly for the sort of the early games. We didn't necessarily get 60,000 there, so actually they made a big impact, and it does make it a bit more exciting. It does make it a bit more exciting with the flares and the drums, and it's different. It's different than your
Classic
normal
European
Premier League.
tie.
Exactly, classic European tie. So what are you talking about tonight then, Tommy?
Obviously, we'll have a real quick chat about the draw that we've just seen. We'll look ahead to the Forest game. We'll also talk about Moyes' situation. Will he, won't he get sacked, depending on circumstances. This strange reappearance of the Pochettino link, which I think is a little bizarre. So we'll just talk about basically those things, and obviously we'll go through as well what we think Moyes is going to do, which is more difficult to call now with everyone available.
Yeah.
And what formation he might sell, and what we would like to see. So we'll go through all that tonight.
Very good. Very good. I like that. Nice. And as you said, everyone, it'll be 10 o'clock tonight, UK time, with Irish Tommy and Luke. Question mark?
Yeah. No, I should be on. I'll see, Tommy's just given the download of what the schedule will be like during the filming, but I haven't agreed to any of it. So,
you got to agree terms.
My people will talk to your people, and
it's the fourth wall. It's it's the fourth.
Text me, don't phone me. Text me, don't phone me. It's easier.
Or Anton just leaves a voice note.
Yeah, a long 500 minute voice.
I don't bother trying to phone Luke anymore. I keep getting his secretary, and she's not very helpful.
It's really difficult to get through, isn't it? Really, he's very.
Yeah, she's always like binning me off. Like, oh, he's not here at the moment, or he's in a meeting. Can I take a message?
Take a message.
No, it's
fine. Doing a job right. Doing a job
take
right.
A message, gents. You can hang on if you want, or you can piss off. It's up to you.
Kicking us out? Are you kicking us out, Russ?
At all.
You're doing.
I'm going to be sitting here talking for the next 40 minutes about West Ham stuff anyway. So if you want to join me, you're more than welcome to.
No,
what stuff?
I'm going to pop off now, and I'm going to pop off and take a nap, and hopefully wake up miserable.
Take your negativity pills.
I'm a bit lightheaded from all this positivity. I'm not used to it.
Good on you, son.
All right, cheers, folks.
See you later.
We'll talk to you later, Luke.
Talk. See you later, man. There you go, Irish Tommy. What we're going to talk? Well, basically, we got a lot to talk about, Lukey. We got obviously we got the thing. Some of this you're going to talk about again for Nottingham tonight with Irish Tommy. So it's up to you. Obviously the Nottingham Forest game is the main focus, isn't it? Obviously we've spoken about the draw. We don't really talk about the draw anymore now. I don't think. That's the main thing on a Friday. It's a have your say Friday. It's live, so people can come on if they want to. We put the link in the chat, and we have a bit of a natter really, and it's whatever anyone wants to talk about. If you've got any things, any questions you want, any talking points, discussion points, let us know. We can go through it and talk. Let's talk about Arto. Arto's put, I think it's maybe Poch. So obviously, so the story is, so yesterday there was a story broke on Football Insider, Inside Football, which was picked up by several other news sources, that now Poch wants in at West Ham. Now, obviously, this contradicts everything we've heard, including apparently from Mr. Sullivan saying we've got no possible candidates if they decide to let David Moyes go. Now, Poch apparently wants in now. Now, me personally, and me and Anton spoke about it yesterday, I think it's it could have come from his camp, but I think it's more to do with Tottenham. I think it's more to do with Chelsea. I don't think it's to do with West Ham. I think it's a flirty peacock showing your feathers. It happens with transfers all the time. I look back at the Aguerd transfer where literally we've been tracking him for the best part of a year, and within like a week to go, he might go to Newcastle. And it's not. It's just for them to okay. So all right, we've got to stump up some money.
Putting it out, isn't it? Agents
exactly.
Putting the name about. Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't see, because of the Tottenham connection, but then at the same time, I don't think managers and players really care about loyalty. They just, if someone throws a bit more money in their face, they'll take it. They'll find out a reason to make it sound acceptable. But that would also be quite interesting, because it would then call, if it is true, it would then call bluff on Sullivan saying there's no one else out there to replace him. But I'm going to say this tonight with Tommy, but my whole opinion in a minute is I would take a risk. I would take a chance on a young manager. And the reason why is because, people say all the time you need experience, you need to just grind out results. Why? Why do you need to grind out results? Why does it need to be 1-0 away and, just park the bus? You can win games by playing good football. And we've got the team by playing to play good football. They are being hindered by Moyes at the minute because he's so scared of conceding any goals that would, 0-0s and 1-0s will do us. But if you take a chance on a young up-and-coming manager, it's it's happening a lot in the Championship at the moment, and a lot of Championship clubs are reaping the rewards of it. But we're in 3 competitions. For them to, it's a lot to take on, but they'd be taking it on anyway at the start of the season because no matter what club you go to, they're going to have expectations. So you've got the likes of Michael Carrick taking over at Middlesbrough. You've got the kind of that Corporano taking over at West Brom. You've got Will Steele, who is my pick personally, but obviously it's very doubtful that he'll come. But in the France league, but it doesn't have to be an Allardyce or a Dyche or a Steve Bruce all the time. You're just going to play defensive football and great results. It doesn't have to be that way all the time. It can be, attacking football can get you out of situations. It can.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I mean, for me, you look at, I think Southampton tried it, didn't they, with Nathan Jones, who I think a lot of people, when they made the appointment, particularly on Twitter, particularly on Facebook, West Ham people were saying, great appointment, exactly what it is. Didn't work for him. Didn't work. It almost came with too much baggage, too much mental baggage. And so I think you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Honestly, I think whatever you do, there's going to be half the fan base is going to say, no, we don't want it, and half is going to say we do want it. And I think it's, you're totally right. I think in this sort of situation where we have 15 games left ish, and we need 6 wins to be guaranteed.
You need a spark as well. You need a spark for someone to come in.
And I thought that would have. And I thought that would have been, and I thought not even necessarily a person, but like something different. So, as you said, when we brought in Ings, I saw that as a spark. I think. And it hasn't really materialized. Unfortunately, the typical West Ham, he gets injured straight away.
Yeah.
But if the reports are meant to be believed, he's starting tomorrow. Moyes has changed the way he's done his team selection in terms of he usually announces it today, but he announced it earlier in the week, and they've been working on that formation, which, to be honest, sure, you should be doing that all the time. But anyway, so we don't. And so does that mean a change of formation? Do you think Ings will play up on his own? I don't think physically he can do that, but you never know. So it needs something. It needs a change, and it's not necessarily. It might be, as I said, it might after Saturday be the manager. It might be, as I said, or changing formation, or when he brought in Paqueta and dropped Souček. So it needs something like that. It needs a significant change, not just a tweak. And so. And then change of formation. If we went back to about 4, for example, maybe we don't know, but it's like I think they're hamstrung by he doesn't want to do something, and we get turned over 3 or 4-0, and although there'll be a percentage of the fan base who'll say, "Oh, I'm glad we had a go, but we lost 3-0." There'll be a massive game. We fucking lost 3-0 to Nottingham Forest. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You really are at the moment. And unfortunately he's made this situation. The side, him and the side have made this situation because we're languishing down the bottom. So anything we can try, if we were like 10th or whatever, we had a bit more breathing space to try these things and see if it don't work. Fair enough. If we only pick up a point to the 3 points again, Forest on Saturday, and it doesn't matter. Fair enough. We tried it, didn't work. But now we've got so many. I'll just seen Tommy's title for his show tonight is Moyes see the forest from the trees. He likes to do these. He's to be like me. He likes that sort of. He likes to do things.
Yeah.
So yes, we'll see. Let's see what Budgie thinks. Budgie's coming in. There he is. Green Streets.
Hello, guys.
Big boy.
Right,
mate.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you.
And you?
Okay, we're very well. Let's start with a draw. Happy? You happy with AEK Larnaca?
Yeah, I am actually. Yeah, I would like to have Anderlecht was my first choice, Lazio my second, but only because I've been to Anderlecht before and I'd like to go there again. But yeah, I'm quite happy with it. Cyprus is nice, isn't it? The boys that go out there are going. Well, the fans that go out there are going to have a good time.
Yeah.
There's one or two that live out there. And we've got the Cyprus Hammers out there. You know, big group of them out there apparently.
Yeah, big group.
So yeah, it looks like it's going to be quite a. It's a positive feel about it. That's for sure.
Definitely. Looks like for anyone interested at the moment in Cyprus, it's 19 and raining at the moment, but it's highs of 26 later on next week. So, you know, a nice bit of weather for a couple of days. You know, in a couple of weeks' time. Definitely me. I can't hear you. You're
Sorry, Russ. It's definitely Russ.
Definitely Russ.
Yeah.
Russ more beautiful. Of course I am. In the next movie, Russ has to be the new Superman. I totally agree, Pedro. You can hang around. I like that. So there's that. Okay, so that's happened. I'm now the new Superman. But in terms of the game on Saturday, what we think? What are you thinking, Budge? Luke's giving his views. He's going to give a few more views. And what? Don't give him too many. You'll keep something back.
Okay, so well, you know, I mean, we're sort of still smarting from the first game of the season. Well, some of us are anyway. You know, I for one am. I think we went out there with a one game already under our belt and ended up getting our asses slapped.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this time round we've got to go out there with a lot more positivity, like we have been just recently. The game against Chelsea, the game against Tottenham, we went out there quite positive. Okay, technically we weren't brilliant, but you can see signs in our game picking up, which is always great. You know, you always want that to happen. And to be fair, Notts Forest have had one or two iffy results lately. Okay, bigger teams, but you know, that still knocks your confidence a bit. And they've had one or two injuries to deal with. So, you know, we're fortunate that we've got at least 99% of our squad available. So, you know, I think we've got quite a positive start to the game before the day's even drawn, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. For me, I think there's, I mean, you know me, I'm always a half glass full person, but I think, you know, I mean, even listening to the Irish Tommy's confident we're going to win, and I think, you know, you look at Forest are only one or two sides worse than us in terms of away record. We had Greg on from Garibaldi Red, who obviously not a Forest fan, and he was saying that, you know, away from home they're just not awful, but they're just not scoring. And I was like, well,
3 goals all season.
Welcome to West Ham. You know, so it's
that's right.
It's one of those things where it always happens. But it obviously, you know, they've got one of our nemesis in terms of Chris Wood now, who's starting to get a bit full for them. Typically, I think the man we should never talk about, Jay Lings, I think he won't feature. They've got a lot of injuries. They have a lot of injuries, but they've got a lot of players as well. So they can cope with 8.
And they're down, and they're also like us, down to their last 2 centre backs. You know, like we were, I should say, down to their last 2 centre backs. You know, they said they've got another one who wasn't on the 25-man roster, so can't play. So, you know, it's quite. I mean, I think, you know, mentally we can go into that game with a real positive attitude, because I think already we have advantages available to us if we just, you know, capitalise on them.
Yeah, it's a great point. I think that the boys made at the beginning of the show when they were talking about the fact that we've got this squad now, or hopefully we'll have a, you know, first time ever this season a fully fit squad if Mr. Bowen mate is okay, but I'm pretty sure he is by the looks of it. And so, as you said, there's genuine options there rather than like for likes. There's genuinely options which can change the game. And so,
definitely,
where you might have just taken off. Might have taken off a Souček and replaced him with Flynn and probably play exactly the same way, but maybe with a little bit more directness. Now you can take someone off, bring on Cornet eventually, or you know, go 2 up front. You know, so now there's no excuse now. There's no excuse in terms of,
and you know, I'm kind of, you know, I kind of like the idea of Paqueta and Ben Rama being on opposite sides of the pitch. I think that because although Ben Rama's more attacking minded, I think he would be like a link between the midfield and the attackers with Paqueta sort of close to him. I think them two playing as a pair would be beneficial to the team, I believe. And we don't get to see that often enough, So I'm hoping that David Moyes might, change things up tomorrow and give us a proper attacking option.
I think, we'll have the press conference that'll be starting in about 35, 40 minutes. So I'd be interested to see what's said in the public version, which we'll bring to you as soon as it finishes. And then John T, who does from Football London, he gives us synopsises of the whole thing and can't really say much about what's in the embargo section. But we've known that Moyes has been critical of us not scoring goals, where he sets his team up not to score goals. But anyway, but obviously with Danny Ings back and Danny Ings fit, and by all accounts Danny Ings starting tomorrow, Moyes has said he's been brought in to be the person to grab a goals. Hopefully it looks like
the goal getter,
the goal getter, and actually probably Chicharito the last time we had someone of that similar ilk, and we didn't really utilize him properly,
or someone that was brought in for that specific reason.
Yeah, exactly. And we haven't really.
I think even though Scamacca, while he was in Italy, was actually a very decent goal scorer, and from many positions on the pitch. But I think David Moyes is seeing him more as a Antonio replacement, if you like. Like work your socks off, run your legs off. Don't have any studs on the bottom of your boots at the end of the game. That's the kind of player he wants, and I think that's what he, and I think that's what he would get if he was put Ben Rama on a starting lineup every week. I think he would get a player doing that.
Yeah, I think the trouble. Obviously, the thing with sometimes with Benny is it's he does run a bit hot and cold, doesn't it? And it's like, unfortunately, when he has a cold game, then he's banished for 2 or 3 games, isn't he? Almost, it's almost like, and that's the trouble. That's the trouble with someone like him. He's such an enigma player, where for him he needs consistent game time, but also he needs to play consistently when he gets game time as well.
Yeah,
and I think,
but even when he's having a cold game, he can sometimes come up with a flash of brilliance. I've been very anti Ben Rama last season because I felt that he wasn't pulling his weight, he weren't doing what he could do. Whereas this season, for me already, he's a contender for Hammer of the Year. And I know it's early to do that, but for me, he's a contender.
Well, I think unlike other seasons where literally you could probably name the Hammer of the Year around sort of Christmas, January time, because everyone was saying no one's apart from. Ben Rama had a good, probably was our most attacking player, most creative player up until the World Cup break. Since there, he hasn't really performed to those levels. I don't think personally.
No,
but
you're right.
And then you look at someone like Agerd. If Agerd had been with us at the beginning of the season, I think he would be a runaway winner for it. To be honest, and because the team haven't performed, it's you haven't. It's a meaningless title, so to speak, in the grand scheme of things. But that's wide open this year for anyone to put a run in 5-6 good performances this season. They'll probably end up winning it. That's how poorly we've been playing this season.
Yeah. Although at this moment in time, Aged is probably definitely top of that list.
Yeah, but as long as you don't touch wood, get another knock in it, and then he gets out of mind, unfortunately. But no, I'm looking. What's your prediction for Saturday then, Budge?
I'm going for a 2-0 win.
Oh, nice clean sheet as well. Like it.
Yeah.
Like who's going to score?
I'm going for a 2-0 win.
Who's going to score?
I think probably. That's a really good question. I wouldn't mind letting Emerson have another one. I think he's been playing well enough. Yeah, he's been playing well enough to have another one. Emo and Danny Ings, I think he's got to get off the mark, hasn't he?
I think that would be a really good.
So I think
scores, I think if he scores,
Yeah.
it'll be very, very good. Very, very good.
Yeah.
I just
Really
saw
good.
something.
From a corner assist. How's that?
Oh, obviously, there was some news today that was it today? Yeah, today that West Ham, because Kenny Brown was interim academy manager, he's just been made full time manager now of the academy, which is great. And,
Brilliant news.
I sent him our regards from the West Ham network, and he's just messaged back. Oh, it's gone. Where's it gone? He's just messaged back so everyone can see. I sent it from our regards. Where's it gone now? Obviously, I can't show it now because I want to show it. But anyway, he says thank you to everyone at the West Ham network. So there we go. Fantastic news.
Great
Good
stuff.
on him. And I've managed to
Brilliant news.
It is great news because I think he's, and look at the, I mean, we haven't spoken much about the under 18s recently, but obviously they got through to the semi-finals of the FA Youth Cup the first time since 1999, when the likes of Joe Cole and Carrick turned over Coventry 9-0 on aggregate, I believe it was. I mean, you can see, we know that Nobes has spoken about this pathway for the 18s, trying to explain why we've got rid of the likes of Ashby and whatnot for their progression. Wait and see that. Wait and see. I think it's a great idea on principle, but wait and see. Now, I mean, the 18s.
Did you happen to see the highlights from the West Ham Ipswich game?
Yeah, I watched it on.
You watched the game?
Watched the game, yeah. It was on FA Play. It was really good actually. Although the commentary was by Gary Breen, former West Ham relegated centre back. I thought, is that boding well?
Brilliant.
I was really impressed by him. I thought they had a really good side. We know the 18s are very very good. It wasn't a classic game for them, but I was impressed. I thought Marshall looks tasty, and I think Marshall's going to be one of those players who. Whatever league he ends up playing in will be a goal scorer. Do you know, there's certain players like Lee Trundle. I always remember he used to score a bag load for Swansea in the various leagues, but didn't score loads in the Premier League. But he scored wherever he went, and I think Marshall's that type of player, very tenacious, very terrier-like. And no, I think we've got some good players. Ollie Scar's played sort of central midfield, which is quite interesting to see.
Didn't he get a knock?
No, he got a knock. I think he's all right, but he got a knock towards the end of the game. There was Regan Clayton, the left back was good, although he was sort of walking a tightrope.
Big lad up top, number 11. Oh, I think number 10 he was wearing. Number 10 shirt. I can't remember his name.
Well, you had Divine and Barma, and you had Kodia who scored.
Kodia, yes, it was him. Yes, he was very good. I thought he was really good.
No, he was.
From what I saw the highlights.
Scored a good goal, and we'll wait and see what happens with them. But obviously they've got to wait until the next draw. I think the draw isn't happening until the first week in March because they don't have all the quarterfinals in one hit. They have them spread out. So I think next week's Man City, and next week following it will be Arsenal and stuff. So we'll see what happens there. Luke, I'm not going to ask you your prediction for tomorrow because you're probably going to talk about it with Tommy. It's like I don't. You got to give him some. You got to give him something. Got to give. It's always like you say that you always put on a news item. You put the most important thing at the end so people watch it.
Well, I my opinion is based on what the team puts out. So that's along the lines of, how I think it's going to go. So that'll all be revealed tonight. So something to look forward to, I suppose, in some ways.
Predicted lineup and a predicted score,
Along them lines,
Like it.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Me and Anton will do the same as we always do. When we put out tomorrow with our predicted 11s and also the sort of what we think is going to happen. We've got the press conference stuff that'll be about an hour's time. Then we have Jonty Coleman from Football London with his stuff. Then we've got Hammer's headlines probably. Then we've also got the late show with Irish Tommy. Oh, I'm gonna have to have a sit down now. I think I'm knackered already. I've got so much to do for this. And I've got to have a proper job as well. And I've got Karen do my proper job as well. And then we'll have match day morning tomorrow, live from the London Stadium if I get up early enough. So from outside there, and then the watch alongs and the review show afterwards and all that type of stuff. So make sure you keep an eye on the channel. And Budgie, Green Street Elites, all kicking off again, isn't it?
Yes, mate. I was just relaunched after a few months of sabbatical. Done a couple of in-crowd interviews, got a couple more lined up. One very special one coming up very soon. No spoilers though. a very special one. And well, in fact, I've got another one lined up that I've got to do some research on. But yeah, some few bits coming up on the channel. I don't generally do the post-match, pre-match stuff because yourself and other channels do that. I'm more interested in the people that support the club.
Yep.
So,
Totally, man. Obviously, that's Green Street Elite on YouTube. Also, Budgie will be back doing old school hammers soon. We'll get that started again
very soon. As soon as Kieran gets his ass back in Australia, I think.
Yeah, we've been shit since he's come back. We were doing all right, and then he comes over here and we start being crap again, don't we? So Kieran can.
I know, yeah.
I'm going to go because my baby's waking up and she's starting to cry now.
Go for it, mate. Go on,
all right.
Duty calls. Right.
Take care.
Take care. Cheers,
see you soon.
Cheers, man. There we go. So he needs to fuck off back to Australia. And then
Aussie, yeah. Yeah, we need to get rid of him.
All right then, guys. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Budgie, thank you, sir, for joining us as always.
Thank you. No worries. I'll jump out and let you do your wrap up. Take care.
Cheers,
Come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons. Thank you, Budge. Anyway, as I said, if you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. Anyone who missed the draw happened at 12 o'clock. That's who we've got. Oh, no, that's not who we've got. That's who we've got. We were the first ones out, rather than the last ones usually. So we were drawn against AEK Larnaca, the Cypriot side. Let me just give you a little bit more information just so you guys can be a little bit more set up in terms of what we can do, in terms of the side itself. In terms of Larnaca, they were founded relatively early in football terms, 1994. They were a combination of two older clubs and they joined together. So far, they've won a couple of Cypriot Cups and the Super Cup rather. They play at the AEK Arena, which only has a capacity of 8,000. So the likelihood is we're probably only going to get about 800, maybe 1,000 max. So not a load. I'm sure there's going to be a load of people turning up to Larnaca and having a bit of a party. It's about 25, 26 degrees there this week. So nice bit of weather if you can have it. They're currently first in their division. And so let me just bring up how they performed in the league so far, because that's interesting to see. So they're playing well in their side at the moment. Where is it? There we go. AEK. Oh, sorry, they're second now. No, it's wrong. That's Athens. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. AEK Larnaca and AEK Athens. So, as I said, first in the Cypriot League. They've played 24 games this season, won 17 of them, only lost 4 games with a goal difference of plus 24. They've won the last 3 in a row, so they're they're fair. They've played. When you look at that squad, that side, you've got the likes of Olympiakos of 13th. You've got anyone else of note? Not really. But so they're a good side. They're top of the league indeed, Chris. And there's some of the players who would be you may see playing Yakelis, Lopez, Lendez, and Faraja. We'll get a fan from AEK Larnaca to come on and give us a bit more information. I do realize it's Olympiakos. Yeah, not Olympiakos, the Greek side. I do realize that, Chris. I was just trying to think of some other ways. Could be a potential banana skin, particularly when they wear yellow as well. So that's just asking for it. And that's it, my friends. As I said, short and sweet, but we've been on for an hour and a half already with Anton before. And so if you want to keep your West Hamness and your West Ham networkness, go to the beginning and listen to Anton and Irish Toby being very, very positive. OMG, who's your favourite player? My favourite player currently or ever? Let me know. Michael thinks Ings 3-0 and 99. That's Cornet for you news. If it's with 2, wow! Could you imagine? It'd be fantastic. West Ham in relegation with Wolves. But what would you like to support apart from West Ham? No one else. There's no point. Scott Mack is your favourite player. Nice one, Russ. Yep. Walk in the park. We won't win, but we can have a walk in the park. Currently, my favourite player is Nair Forget. There we go. Thank you very much. Anyway, as I said, make sure you subscribe. Loads of stuff coming up as per usual. Also, we've got Anton was on the latest episode of We Are West Ham podcast, which was out today or yesterday. yesterday. It was out yesterday, so make sure you check that out. Obviously, we work with the We Are West Ham podcast guys to provide you with a YouTube channel in terms of West Ham Network, and then a really good podcast if you want to listen to a podcast. We Are West Ham podcast guys are fantastic as per usual. As I said, don't forget tonight, Irish Tommy, 10 o'clock. You've already had him on. He's very positive. He'll have a sleep. He'll have a negative pill, and he'll be back to normal tonight. So make sure you check that out with Luke as well. And that's it, my friends. So thank you very, very much for your time. Take care. Stay safe. Stay warm. Stay humble. 2 wins to us. Ings and Cornet to score for us, and Woods to score for them. Woods is always going to score for them because he hates West Ham. Anyway, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble. Keep the faith, my friends. If you're going to Cyprus, if you're going to go see AEK Larnaca's the match, good luck. It'll be on the 9th of March. If you want to start booking your flights, Ryanair have already got up apparently from 30 quid to 300 quid. But apparently you can take flights from Pathos. You can take flights from Minapol, something like that as well. So anyway, take care, stay safe. Bye-bye.